I just wanted to take a minute to talk about Chelsea, and I'm even wearing blue for the occasion. Chelsea, they're a funny team. They're a little bit like my team, Man United, in the sense that they're not quite a consistent top four team, even though they feel like they should be, and have been in previous years. And a series of sort of poor decisions has led them to. Did they finish 10th? I think it was 10th last year. So I just wanted to talk about what they can do to sort of put themselves back on the map and put them back up into the top four. Maybe not competing for the title this year, but when you finish 10th, it has to be about getting into the top four. So they've brought in Jabi Alonso, which I think is an interesting one. I think he could suit Chelsea, perhaps even more so than Liverpool, because if he brings his sort of three at the back formation, well, I think Chelsea. They won the last won the league with Antonio Conte, didn't they? Where they played three at the back, and you had like Victor Moses and Marcus Alonso and Rudiger and Kante and Fabregas and all that. So I think it could be an interesting one if he does sort of bring this three at the back to Chelsea. But what they will need is a goalkeeper and several defenders, because they certainly don't have a good roster of those players. I think a goalkeeper is somewhat easy. That there are good, better goalkeepers than Robert Sanchez out there. They could have got Magnon of AC Milan last summer, I believe. I don't know why they didn't go for him. I don't know why they thought, oh yeah, let's stick with Robert Sanchez, but they could go in for Magnon again, or I don't know, Diogo Costa of Porto. Trying to think who else. I think even Petrovic that they sold to Bournemouth is probably better than Robert Sanchez. But there's goalkeepers out there, and I think that's a position that could be solved quite easily if they wanted to. So moving on to centre backs. Well, who do they have at the moment? They have Chalobah, Fofana, Badiashile. I suppose Dizazi will come back. Colwill, who was out for the season with an ACL. And am I missing anyone? I don't think I am. So you got those five defenders. I feel like I'm missing somebody. I should have done more research, but yeah, it's quite an average bunch, isn't it? It's hardly Terry and Carvalho, is it? I think Colwill. I think there's a player in Colwill. He was quite unfortunate to get his ACL, and I think if he didn't do his ACL and had a good season, he could have been a starter for England. But such as life. But if he can come back, and if he can sort of get back to the level he was at, and sort of keep progressing, I think he could be a top defender for them. But you need, if they go with the three at the back, you need two other centre backs. I think one of them could be Reece James, that as the sort of right-sided centre back. I feel like he did that for England a little bit. Has he done it for Chelsea? I don't think he's suited to right wing back anymore. I think with the injuries and the body type, I don't think he's a guy who can sort of get up and down the wing as a wing back. But in midfield or as part of a back three, I think solid player. So then that leaves a sort of central centre back that they need, and of course some backup centre backs. I would go with somebody, just to throw a name out there, Kim Min Jae. He's 29, going on 30, so he's an experienced player, which, as we all know, Chelsea need experience, because they've got such a young team, but you're not going to sound like, is it Alan Hansen that said you'll never win anything with kids? Sound a bit like him, but you won't, not in this day and age. That was a place in time in place. That was a particular time in football, and I don't think that would happen these days. I think you need a good balance. You need players that will bring energy and youth, You need players that will get better, but then you also need experience around them to help the younger players. And Chelsea need that. I think it's a fairly simple problem to solve. Again, if the ownership want to solve it. So somebody like Kim Min Jae, I think could be a solid signing. I'm not sure how in favour he is at Bayern Munich. I know they have Tar and Upamecano. I think they're both ahead of him in the pecking order. So I think somebody like him. I don't think Kim would cost that much. I don't think he'd cost more than 40 million. So, but there's experienced centre backs out there that they could go for. I think another centre back that I've seen. He's not experienced. He's another younger player, but there's Ordonez, I think his name is. He's a Colombian centre back from. It's a Belgian league side. I think it's Anderlecht, or is it Club Bruges? No, I think it's Club Bruges. He's 21, 22. He's going to the World Cup. I think he's in line for a move to somewhere in Europe pretty soon. And I think for Chelsea, either as a backup on the a backup on the right hand side or as a central centre back, I think that could be a solid option for them. But they need, if they go to a back three, they're going to need 2 or 3 decent centre backs to accommodate that, and they need to get rid of Disasi, get rid of Badiashile. I don't think they'll get rid of Fofana because didn't he cost them 80 million quid? I mean, Jesus, think about it. How the hell have Leicester gone to League One when in the last 10 years they've sold Harry Maguire to United for 80 million and Fofana to Chelsea for 80 million, and they've sold Maddison to Spurs, they've sold Barnes to Newcastle. They've made so much money. I mean, how that new training facility that they bought with Maguire's money, which is still obviously it's less than 10 years old, and it's going to be in League One. It's mad. Anyway, I'm getting off topic, but so they've got Gusto at right wing back. If we presume it's a back five, they'll need a backup because I think currently Reece James is the backup. But if you consider him a centre back, they'll need a backup. Dumfries has just gone to Real Madrid, hasn't he? He'd have been perfect for that position for them, but yeah. And then left back. Sure, I've seen reports of them potentially selling Cucurella. For me, he's probably the best left back in the Premier League right now. I don't really understand that. I know. Oh, just remember they've got Hato. Now Hato played on the left side of a back three for Ajax. I'm not sure. I'm not sure he has the attributes for a left wing back. Certainly left side of the back three. Good young player. So maybe 1 or 2, centre backs, good centre backs to bring in because you got him. But then Cucurella though. No, I don't know why you'd sell him, but this is Chelsea we're talking about. You just don't know what they're going to do you? The midfield is the least you need to talk about really because I say that, but they might sell Enzo Fernandez to Real Madrid or even Man City. Man City have been rumoured, haven't they? But you got Casado, however you say it. You got Lavia, who if he can stay fit. Obviously, it'd be midfield 2. I'm assuming it'd be a midfield 2, and then like 2 sort of attacking midfielders and a striker. And then the attacking midfield as well. If you take the wingers that they have, which would sort of be in that position, you have Garnacho, you have Jamie Gittins, you have Neto, and you have Esteval. Obviously, there's 4 there, so you need. If you wanted to bring somebody else in, you'd probably have to sell one of them because ultimately you probably don't need 5 senior wingers, maybe a younger 5th. choice. I think Neto's an okay squad player who puts in his shift. Um, definitely keep Esteval. By the way, I, I'm a United fan, but I want to see what comes from this guy. I think he could be a top player, and I want to see more of him next season. I think the problem is on the left hand side for them because I think with Garnacho and Gittins, they're two players that once upon a time had bags of potential. Garnacho at United, Gittins at Dortmund, and you think, well, if you can get the best out of them, you've got two top wingers, but it's a big if, and they're not really kicking on, especially Garnacho. I think if I was Garnacho, I'd go to Italy. I'd go to Napoli because I think Premier League players that go over to Italy tend to do well. I think he could have a similar effect to that McTominay did or has done there. I think he could go there in a slower league when he's a quick, energetic player, and I think he could. I think he could do all right over there. I think he's still young. He's still 21, 22. But if he has another year like he's had at Chelsea, where it's just on the bench, not really having. He's not terrible, but he just doesn't have an effect on the game for Chelsea from the times I've watched him anyway. So from a Chelsea point of view, out of Gittins and Garnacho, I'd probably get rid of Garnacho and then bring in Rafa Leao's free. Well, he said he wants to leave AC Milan. Maybe that could be an option for them. And I think that could work in that sort of formation where the attacking midfielder perhaps has a little bit less defensive responsibility because you got three defenders, two midfielders, wing backs to defend. He wants to leave, then potentially need a right winger. 6-7, no. That's so bad. And then moving on to striker. Well, they need a striker, don't they? João Pedro is a tricky one. He's played striker a lot of the season. He's got 14, 15 goals, which is a solid return really. It's difficult to find a striker that will get guaranteed to get more than that. But I think in a lot of people's minds, he's not the be all end all for a Chelsea striker. And whatever they do, they need to get rid of Liam Delap. I mean, I'm not religious, but I thank God every day that United didn't get Liam Delap because we definitely wanted him and he chose Chelsea. I'm not religious at all, but I thank God every day that we didn't get him. I mean, he's dreadful, isn't he? I don't doubt he could be a solid Premier League player long term, but he needs to go to one of his former clubs, Hull or Ipswich, who've just come up. So Chelsea need to decide: do they go all in for a top striker like an Osimhen if he wants to leave Turkey, or do they find a different backup that can challenge João Pedro and sort of either take it over from him or sort of is on equal footing and they can rotate? Who that is, I don't know. I think Gonçalo Ramos from PSG could be a good option for them because I think he might want to leave. But again, there are striking options out there miles better than Liam Delap. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the Chelsea team. They need probably two centre-backs, maybe a backup right wing back, certainly a striker, right wing, goalkeeper. Jobs are good. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.